Mark, you mentioned last night that you thought your team was going to have to be sharper defensively, just given their nature. What kind of pressure did they put on you all offensively that you guys weren't able to quite get a handle on tonight?
Yeah, I credit them. They played really well. I thought they did a good job of freeing up Murray early in the game in the first half. I thought their attacks were really good, and then they delivered on some shots. I mean, they stepped into shots with confidence and made us pay when we overhelped or when we left them open. So they did a good job there, but certainly it doesn't come down to just that. I thought we had to be a lot sharper on that end of the floor to give ourselves a chance to win. And even when you take away some of the threes they made, the amount of points we gave up on stuff that we could control and that's within our game plan was too many on a night like tonight.
Offensively, I know you scored a ton of points, but did you feel like you maybe didn't quite have the same tempo and quickness to your offense as you normally do?
Yeah, I mean, in the second half especially, I thought they slowed us down a little bit in the first half, but we stabilized pretty well. We had 73 points at halftime or 71. I thought they threw us off rhythm with the zone trapping thing that they did with Shai. They were able to limit his attempts. And I did think that, threw us off rhythm. I got to get to the drawing board on that. I mean, that's certainly not something we've seen out of them very much, if at all. I don't think we've ever seen that out of them. Seen very little of that generally, but that's new. That's a new thing. We got to add to the whiteboard, come up with some solutions, be better the next time somebody tries it. But never an excuse, in terms of the defensive performance. It's not like we scored 95 points tonight. We gave up way too many points.
Mark, in the second half, with the defense specifically, I know you're willing to live with some of those corner threes or whatever it is, but are there specific things you felt could have gone differently that you could have changed besides the shot making?
I mean, when a team makes shots like they did, I don't know what they shot for the game, but they shot a high number. Your margin for error just goes thinner. And so because of how good our defense has been this year, we've been able to endure hot shooting nights. San Antonio comes to mind, with the way we played in the second half. But you got to be really, really tight on the glass. You got to be really, really tight in your other stuff, in order to endure a night where they shoot it like that. So we weren't tight enough, and they made shots, and that's how you add up to 140.
And Shai took just 2 shots in the fourth, even though he came in earlier than usual.
Yep.
I think it was Peyton Watson and Christian Brown both tried to deny him. In the games when he does get denied, what are some of the common denominators you see that kind of limit him?
Well, what we saw tonight with them is somewhat new. We haven't seen this very much, so credit them. I mean, they had a good scheme there. Like I said, they threw us off rhythm to a degree. We scored enough in the game to win. I do want to note that with the defense, but it's not like typical denials that you would normally get out of man-to-man like we see against, Houston or New Orleans. It was a little different. They're zoning, trapping him when he's got the ball, denying him when he doesn't. It was specialized for him. I always look at that as a compliment to Shai, first of all, and a compliment to our team when a team gives you something like that that's new. And now it's on me and our staff and the team to find solutions for that, and we'll get to work on that for if we see this again.
Are you surprised that they can come up with something new because there's so many defenses you've seen already?
Yeah, it's creative. It's good for their personnel, and like I said, credit them. They threw something out there that gave us problems in those parts of the game, and we just, like I said, we've got to go to the drawing board, find some solutions for that for if we see them again at some point, and then if another team decides to do that against us.
I think this first back-to-back for Chet, I believe, since he's been back. You think that maybe he never found his offensive rhythm tonight? Maybe that's just not used to the legs back or whatever. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, he's been really good. He's a really impactful player, and he's still working himself back. I don't know if that specifically contributed to, missing a couple shots tonight, but he's still a very impactful player, and he's still building back. Like I've said, we're trying to evaluate him week to week. He's trending up week to week. He's done a great job. We're certainly happy to have him back. He's been very impactful since he's been back, so, he's doing a good job.
Early on in the game, there was some frustration, it seemed like, from you off that I-Heart foul where he got hit in the face and there was a no call. What was sort of the situation with Dylan going up to the scores table and then ended up not subbing in at that time?
Yeah, well, I was frustrated with the Hart foul because there's a clear misplay, and I thought it was an easy play to get. There's no one near the basket. The permanent sub idea is, there's a ball goes out of bounds in the NBA. The officials are the ones in charge of the pace of how fast the ball gets inbounded. Jokic is savvy, and if I was coaching Jokic, I'd appreciate him doing this too, but he gets the ball very quickly from them, and he starts the fast break. And the officials start the fast break for him because he demands the ball, they hand it to him, and he zips it up the floor. We had a situation a couple of years ago where we're at Golden State, we had a sub up, and they missed the sub. They inbounded the ball so fast. And so I put a sub up tonight, and I was like, hey, you're going to have to call him in every single out of bounds in order to slow the game down if you guys are going to give them an advantage by him handling the ball fast. So they delayed a game that. I don't know if there's a rule against doing that. I think you can have a sub up there and choose not to put him in the game. But it was something that, I went to. If they're going to quick the ball in for them, then I'm going to do that.
Coach, sorry if you mentioned it earlier, but any update on Jalen Williams and his hip?
No update. We'll evaluate him in the morning. Obviously, he was ruled out for the game.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm just curious, I've never heard of that strategy. Up there.
Yeah, it's creative.
Did you think of that, or when did you?
Like I said, we were at Golden State a couple years ago. The referee hands the ball to, the inbounder, who also was demanding the ball. We had a sub up. To me, that's an unfair advantage because we teach our team, hey, get ready quickly. If they inbound the ball, look to gain that advantage. We don't get the ball that fast. So you can put a sub up, and on an out of bounds or a free throw, you can opt not to put that guy in the game. And I just put him up there, and I told them, look, I'm going to leave him here all night. You're going to have to call him in on every out of bounds unless you're going to delegate the game fairly for both teams on out of bounds calls. So that's what I was doing. They gave me a delay of game. I don't know if that's a rule, but that's why I pulled him back. I would have left him there all night.
Anybody else?
Your technical foul doesn't really matter. Now you lost the game, but you did go on a 17-6 run.
I mean, the technical had nothing to do with that. More just misplay. I didn't think we got an early favorable whistle, and was just trying to, make sure that I got their attention. It was a combination of that and the inbound play that I was pretty pissed with.
Tonight, kind of knowing you're going to have to be even sharper tonight to beat that team. What did you feel like you just kind of weren't quite able to match tonight, either from an energy or execution standpoint?
Yeah, we clearly giving up 140 points. It's going to be hard to win any basketball game no matter who you play. And that's what it comes down to, getting stops.
If you guys had to line it up and play again tomorrow, any controllable aspects of the defense that you feel like that you can handle better in the next matchup?
Yeah, we have a few. I like to not share them with the world, but we do have a few. Yeah.
Go, Joel. Let me go to Mark. Go ahead, Joel.
Shai, Mark was just saying, he got asked about you being denied during stretches, and he was saying the sort of things they threw out were somewhat new. I guess what felt different about the way they were denying you and just defending you in general?
I don't know. I feel like I think we saw Minnesota did the same thing when we blew the lead. So I feel like I've seen it before. Yeah, it felt similar to that. It didn't feel too different. Now, in both of the instances, we didn't handle it great. But, yeah, we'll go to the drawing board, try to be better.
And I know shot making is one thing, but for Jokic, and I know that's not you one-on-one defending him, what felt different about the sort of looks he was getting to today versus, yesterday afternoon?
Their whole offense just seemed in a better rhythm. We were less disruptive, it feels like. They got to their spots. They just look comfortable. And when you give good players comfort, they have nights like those guys did tonight.
Staying with like sort of the new defensive coverages, which you said aren't new, Minnesota threw the same thing at you. Is there any benefit in that these are being thrown at you now and not in the playoffs? It's sort of like you're getting this taste early of like how to adjust and how to adapt, and it's not as on the fly as in like a series.
Absolutely. The more you see it, the more you can be equipped for it. Now, like we're gonna play the best teams, best coaches, best players in the world. Like they're gonna have tricks. And they're gonna save stuff for the playoffs, and we're gonna see like a bunch of different things down the stretch. And in a playoff series, it's just about us being able to get the car back on the road and adjust to them, and be able to attack them and have answers for them as fast as we can.
Anyone else for Shai? Here we go. Then we'll get another one, Joel, after that.
When the trap is coming that high, you guys were able to find a lot of good looks. What does a successful possession look like for you when you're just moving off the ball and letting 4-on-3 develop on the other side of it?
Yeah, they like you said, we got a bunch of good looks. Now, I don't like to leave the game up to shot making. Like I don't like to just blame shot making and shot missing. Like I feel like generating like there's a way to attack where sometimes you have to take a shot in the 3, but the stuff in the paint and the stuff around the rim is the highest percentage. Now, if we're missing point blank layups and stuff like that, then it is what it is. But like I think there's still a way to attack better, even though you're still getting open threes. Like jump shots are going to fluctuate. I always say that, no matter how good of a shooter you are. And I just never like to chance things up to that, to percentages. I like things that are like more certain, and the rim and the paint is. And we'll watch film. We have a bunch of games left to try to attack it. I'm sure teams will try to throw it at us again because it has worked. And yeah, we'll get better from it. That's all it is.
Shai, I mean, I could be wrong, but you don't seem super bothered by the result. I'm not saying you should be one way or the other, but I guess what lens do you view these sort of games against potential playoff opponents relative to the season?
Yeah, opportunities to learn. Like, we play so many games, so many good teams in the league. Like, a win is never as good as it seems, and a bad is never as bad as it seems. And that's what I always tell myself. Like, last night I went to bed and it was like, tomorrow's going to be a new day, you have to play them again, and if you lose, you're going to have a terrible feeling. So, like, everything in the past, it's going to be ups and downs. It's life, it's basketball. You just got to stay level-headed and learn from your mistakes and try to be better tomorrow.
Are you guys facing more zone this year? Just seems like you are. I mean, is it just me? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of it is we've been really good against man, like basically unstoppable, if you ask me. And the zone has slowed us down some, and teams have had some success against it. And I think, like I always say, like, every other team in the league is watching when we play, when good teams play, and they're trying to figure out ways to attack and beat us, because we do the same. Like, it's an advantage we can get by watching games. And they see something work, they try it, it works, and now it's a trend. It's how it goes. It's just on us to be better. We'll be better. We've been good in stints. We've learned from things, but we're way ahead of the curve than we've been in the past, and that's what it's about, getting better every day. Tonight is an opportunity to do so. We lost because of X, Y, and Z. Not saying it's those things. It's probably more defense. But it's an opportunity to learn and get better, and we'll look at tonight the same way.
When they double you that aggressively and sort of trap the ball out of your hands really, really early, does it change your mindset or your approach offensively at all? Because you don't seem like the type of guy who really forces shots, but it just seems like logically it would make sense of, like, you're going to have less opportunities of, like, when you see a scoring window, is it more urgency of, like, I need to go attack this, or does it really change anything at all?
Yeah, it doesn't really change much. I just try to play the game in front of me. If it's too on me, obviously we have numbers on the back end of it, and I try to put my teammates in position to be successful in those situations. And that's what it comes down to, whether it's single coverage, whether it's double coverage, like trying to put on a possession, trying to get the best shot possible, regardless of what they throw at us, is our goal, and that's what I try to do every time now.
It's a prideful team like that. Just how much of a challenge is it to try to turn around and beat those guys again, second night of a back-to-back?
It was a big challenge. They're a good team. They adjusted really well from the game yesterday. It was a great game. They executed really well, and we got to give credit to them.
Anything in particular defensively that you felt like was in your control? I mean, obviously they just were really sharp. They made a ton of shots, but anything you feel like right now, like, okay, if we were to play these guys tomorrow, we got to do a better job at this?
Yeah, I would say execute our game plan a little better. A lot of their guys made a lot of tough shots. But other than that, I would say a little bit more physicality and yeah.
What else we got? Myron?
Jamal Murray, you guys kind of held him in check last night. Tonight he gets off at, I think, 34. What was the biggest difference in this game? Just shot making, or did they change something?
He's a great player. He's going to make a lot of tough shots. He really got going a little bit early, which, those type of guys, when they see a couple balls going, they get going. So, try everything to stop him. But, he made some good reads and made some tough shots. Got to give it to him.
You got off, but that zone or whatever they were running was different. Talk about the problems that present you guys.
Yeah, they're just throwing stuff, at us. We're a good team. It was kind of something new. We'll adjust to that. But I don't think we've kind of have seen that. Well, we've probably seen it before, but it was something. It's just something we got to adjust to. We'll go back and get better.
Along those lines, Lou, especially, against a team like this, potential team you might see in the playoffs, and that's this type of atmosphere. Just for you to go off on a career high, eight three-pointers, yes, it's in a losing effort, but was there a point throughout that stretch where you looked up and was like, wow, I got 8 threes or 7 threes or whichever it was?
Not really. I put the work in. I work a lot on my game. Today I was just reading the game, and the ball came to me a lot in the way that they were playing defense. I got a lot of open ones, so I just had to shoot them with confidence, and I'm not surprised. Like I said, I put a lot of work in, and then whenever it's my time to make some shots, I'll be ready.
And a lot of those, one more. A lot of those plays in transition started because of you, because of those deflections and those quick, jabs that really get you guys going. How did you feel the Nuggets responded to that in terms of their transitional defense? Did you think that played a part?
And say that again?
In terms of the defense in transition, just the way you were able to start a lot of those fast break opportunities, do you think that played a part in them, keeping themselves ahead in terms of how they were defending you?
Yeah, I feel like we were a pretty good team in transition. So whenever we got a chance to go, we got to take advantage of that. And me, I'm an energy guy. Anything I can do to help push my teammates to go harder or anything, and trying to create some momentum, I'll do it. So I was just in the gaps and really active with my hands.
Dub going down was obviously just really unfortunate for you guys. Where do you feel like you guys missed it more? Was it on the defensive end or on offense?
Both ends. Dub he's a great player, and we need him, and he's doing so much for us on the team. But I wish him well. He'll get better, and those type of moments is the next man up, and whoever gets called on the floor gotta go and play hard.
And then Mark was just in here and he was talking about the speed in which Jokic was inbounding the ball. Can you just tell us, I just guess from like a pro's point of view, of like how important that is, of just like the split second of like how much faster a guy gets in the ball versus a set defense versus before a defense gets to chance to get set?
It's fast. It's better whenever the defense is not set, when they quick the ball in, which he's been doing that a lot. But I guess it's better whenever he cooks the ball in.
Anybody else for Lou? Anyone else? Thank you, Lou.
Thanks, Lou.